And good morning to you. Welcome to Up to the Minute. It is Tuesday, April the 13th. Glad to have you with us. Big shout out this morning. Frank Cooper's joined me, by the way, my co-host. Frank, it's a big day today because it's my daughter's birthday. Her name's Gabrielle, and I want to wish her a happy birthday. She turns 27, if you can believe that.
Happy birthday, Gabrielle. You have a 27-year-old daughter? Why am I just not finding out about this?
27-year-old son, too.
What, you have a stable of kids I never knew about? What is going on? What are you, a secret agent?
You just don't watch the show enough, Frank. You got to watch the show more. Somebody get Frank a resume and bring him up to speed on me, will they?
That's a good plug. Matter of fact, by watching the show, there are multiple ways of watching the show here on Up to the Minute. Subscribe to YouTube, hit the notification bell for HCC Up to the Minute for our latest episodes. We're also on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all the major social media platforms to watch the show. So let's grow the show. And shout out to Gabrielle for her birthday.
All right, Frank, thanks. Stick around. We'll be talking with you later. We may have a little bit of sports to talk about this morning. A lot going on in the sports world. But we've got some HCC news and information for the next half hour. We're going to keep you up to date with all the news you need to know and some special guests. Dr. Lamont Rogers is a professor of philosophy here at HCC Southwest College, and he's also one of the 2021 NISOD winners. Good morning, Dr. Rogers. How are you?
Oh, good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Good to see you. Glad to have you with us, and congratulations on the award. We're looking forward to talking with you more about that very shortly. Every Tuesday, we have chefs on from around the city of Houston. Today is no exception. Have you ever been to the tasting room? I know I've been there many years ago, but we're very happy to have Chef Beto Gutierrez. He's the corporate executive chef at Lasco Enterprises and the tasting room. Good morning to you, Chef. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
We are doing great. It's great to have you with us. We've got a couple of things we want to talk to you about. But first, why don't you update us on this tasting room? I know you guys had a real popular location, which was just outside the loop off Post Oak. But now you're on the west side of town. Is that correct? Is that where you are right now?
Yeah, so this location is at CityCentre, just off of Memorial. Tasting Town and Country is this area is called.
And tell us a bit about your history, because I know the tasting room is primarily known for the wine, the tasting. And of course, you've got a lot of things on the menu right now. Tell us a bit about the history and how you guys have evolved over the years.
Started off just a little wine bar, and over the years just evolved. Got involved here and there, and added little cheese pretty boards, and then over time, wood fire pizzas that are made from scratch. We put on mozzarella, homemade burgers. We expanded the menu during the years, and now it's a full-blown menu with steaks and small plate style appetizers. Of course, we still have the wood fired burning pizzas, and charcuterie boards are still super popular, cheese boards.
Before we get to more on the tasting room, why don't you tell us what you're going to be making today? Because you've got a special dish, and it involves a chicken sandwich. So why don't you tell me about that?
It involves a chicken sandwich, yeah. So I love crispy fried chicken sandwiches. And in fact, we just launched one across the Max's and tasting room this past Friday. So we're going to demo it for y'all today. So we have fried crispy chicken sandwich, little kale slaw, brioche bun, a little bit of heat. If you guys like it.
And these type of sandwiches, you can go ahead and get started. I'll ask you while you're putting stuff together. But these type of sandwiches, I guess, did they originate out of the Nashville area? Because was this a take on the Nashville hot chicken, which seems to have taken the country by storm in the last 5 years?
Yeah, these spicy, crunchy, crispy sandwiches have really become super popular, and they're just about everywhere. And being that Max's is a Southern comfort type restaurant with chef's twists, we thought it'd be a good idea to do our own version of one there and kind of make Max's the launching pad for the sandwich. So just real quick here, we do a little bit of flour and then a little buttermilk dredge here real quick. And the flour is seasoned with our own little special secret Max's spice blend.
Is it important to season the flour? Because some purists I hear just like the straight flour, maybe a little salt and pepper, but it sounds like you guys put a little bit more into that.
We do a little bit more on there. We actually have a special jalapeno spice blend that's proprietary just to us.
Right.
That we put in flour.
And do you marinate the chicken before you place it in the seasoning?
Yes, we do. So the chicken marinates overnight and a little bit of the jalapeno seasoning, a little bit of butter.
Okay, a little bit of buttermilk as well. And when you're cooking chicken, It seems like chicken, when you're cooking it, it's real easy to mess it up, at least when I've cooked chicken. What's the key to cooking good fried chicken? Is it to leave it alone once you put it in the fryer?
Yes, so the temperature has to be just right? So for this chicken sandwich, we did about 340 degrees. As soon as you drop it in there, your first inclination is kind of want to start moving it around and turning it. But yeah, no, just like you mentioned, just leave it alone and let it do its thing and let that crust form and seal. Because once you start poking at it, you'll break that crust and then it'll just fall apart. So
it's kind of hard though, when I know you're a professional, but when you're an amateur cooker like myself and you're putting some chicken on, you always want to mess with it. Maybe turn it over too early, but you're saying the key is just leave it alone until you're ready. I guess if you're in a shallow pan, when you can flip it.
Absolutely right. The best thing to do is use a good amount of oil for this chicken.
And what type of oil do you use for frying?
Yeah, so you don't want too shallow because that oil will come up when you drop the chicken in there. And you do want to have a little bit of breathing room for that chicken to fry up in there. So you don't want to crowd it up. So you want a good amount of oil so we can get that chicken nice and crispy.
And tell me about the tasting room experience, because as we talked, you guys have evolved a bit over the years. Now you're more of not just the wine, but you offer a lot with the restaurant. Tell us a bit about your menu. You said you got steaks and other things on the menu as well?
Yes, sir. Steaks going on the menu. Of course, a wood fire burning pizzas. We make our own dough for those every day. We pull our own mozzarella. Gourmet hamburgers that we're doing. Custom blend patties that are made just for us. The buns, we get it from a local baker. Cake and bacon. Fantastic bread that we use here, as well as our cheeses. We source those through Houston Dairy Maids.
Right.
Lindsay down there supports us with great cheese and product. So we support local vendors as much as possible.
And I know Sunday Fun Day seems to be a big deal on Facebook. Everybody's hashtagging out, having a few mimosas and maybe a little bit of brunch on Sundays. And you guys have started a brunch thing as well there?
Yeah, we kicked off brunch a couple of months ago. And let me tell you, you need a reservation now. It's full blown.
What was it like over the last year for you guys? Did you shut down obviously for a while? Were you doing a lot of takeout? Had you done takeout before, and how did that work?
The tasting room wasn't doing a lot of takeout, so we did increase our takeout level as far as pizzas and burgers, and we're coming up with cool little family special deals, lasagnas and whatnot. The Max's brand already had a lot of to-go food going with their fried chicken, so they were able to really just roll right into it. We had to game plan a little bit for the bigger store. This store is huge, so we have a huge wraparound patio, and a lot of our business is based on events, social gatherings. So
yeah,
luckily those are starting to come back already, which we've seen, and it's fantastic to see this space just filled up with people who should have been here over the weekend. It's fantastic.
Yeah, because you mentioned the brunches it sounds like you got to get a reservation or be prepared to wait a little while to get in for the brunch. So the crowds are showing up. Are you seeing that your customers are wanting to get out more and enjoy themselves after being locked down for the better part of 9 months?
Yeah, I think they're just craving it. They just want to be out. They want to be around people. They want to be outside and just enjoy themselves just on the patio and have a nice glass of wine, and enjoy some good food.
What's next with the chicken? What do we do once you get it out of the oil, and how do you?
Yeah, we got some fun working pretty long real quick. Yeah.
And we're talking with Chef Beto Gutierrez. He's with the Tasting Room on the west side of town. Of course, they've got a couple of locations, and he's preparing a sandwich called the Hot Chick. Is that the name of the sandwich?
Yeah, the Hot Chick sandwich. So we had a little naming contest between marketing and Taylor and her girls, and went down to several names. And we decided the Hot Chick was kind of fun, playful, and so we went for it.
All right, so we got the sandwich out of the oil, or the chicken out of the oil, and now we're going to be doing the assembling. And do you?
It comes out of the fryer, and we dip it in this cayenne butter.
There you go. Okay, there's where it gets the heat.
Right, that's where the heat comes from, and it really just clings on there, and you get that nice. It's a slow, I like to call it a slow burn on that heat, right?
Yeah.
It's not overwhelming at first, but it starts to build.
If you've never had Nashville hot chicken or hot chicken, from what I've noticed, don't expect going and getting buffalo style chicken because it's not that hot. There is a slow heat to it. It's more of a cayenne type heat from what I've noticed from the hot chicken I've had. Is yours the same way?
Yes, correct. So we'll hit it up with a little bit of garlic aioli. We'll take a little bit of this kale slaw right here. A little bit of kale, cabbage in there. Mix this up. This is our spicy aioli. Has a little bit of sambal in here, garlic, a little bit of lemon juice. Hit it here. I love pickles on any sandwich, especially a chicken sandwich.
Oh yeah, you got to have pickles on it. Yep.
Here. Come back with our chicken.
And there's your chicken drenched in a, it's got a butter and pepper in there, right?
I got a little bit of cayenne in there, paprika. I don't want to give away all my secrets.
There you go.
Pretty straightforward. I'm gonna mix the slaw here real quick.
And the slaw is a Southern staple, of course, if you go to different states. You don't find it much in the Houston area, but it seems if you go to Tennessee, Georgia, some of those areas there, if you order a barbecue sandwich, they're automatically going to put slaw on it unless you tell them not to.
Right, exactly. And that's it. We top it up on right here, and you get it with a little side of fries or a side salad, whatever you like.
Incredible. The hot chick sandwich at the tasting room. Stop by and check it out. Chef, is this on your menu all the time now?
Yeah, so currently we're running it. We started running it as a special, but it will be on the menus, or it's pretty much, you can order it as of right now. It's ready to go.
And you guys open Mondays through Sundays, or y'all open every day of the week?
Tasting room is open every day of the week, also for lunch too. We do brunch on Saturdays and Sundays. And we're open late till midnight.
Chef Beto Gutierrez, Executive Chef at the Tasting Room. Thanks for joining us now.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
All right, take care. We are going to move on to our next guest. Of course, over the last month or so, we've been highlighting the NISOD winners. And of course, today is no exception. We've got, let me move on to my script here. We've got Dr. Lamont Rogers. He's a professor of philosophy at HCC Southwest and 2021 NISOD winner. Dr. Rogers, welcome to the show. Tell me about NISOD, because we talked about it last week. So I know everybody in the educational world knows a little bit about these awards. What does it stand for? What does it mean to win one? Maybe you can tell us a bit about it.
I actually wish I could. I think I'm a bit of an anomaly. I had never heard of it until maybe 2 years ago when my department chair nominated me for this, or at least mentioned it initially. So it's a teaching excellence award, but I am completely ignorant about some of the factors that go into picking winners. I don't even know that students get to vote. So if you'd like to discuss the ins and outs of NISOD, oddly enough, I'm the wrong guy, even though I won it.
You're happy to win it, I would imagine.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Tell me, you're a philosopher. Tell me about how you got into philosophy as a teaching profession.
Well, it was a really long and circuitous route. I mean, in the early 1990s, I was interested in strength training. And I would read all these muscle magazines, and it just troubled me that nobody had a theory about strength training. And I found maybe one group of people who did, and I was just drawn to their method of reasoning. And I realized that that's what I needed to do in every part of my life if I wanted to be successful. It turned out that their method of reasoning was ultimately wrong, but at least they had one.
Right.
That was the draw.
You are also involved in something, and I've interviewed Nathan Smith on this in the past, the open educational resources. Tell us a bit about that, because it's very important for our students nowadays.
Yeah, it is. So these are resources that instructors can use for free. They're in the public domain. Many of them we can modify on our own. And they're a way of reducing the cost of higher education, increasing access. They're also a great way for professors to stay current with the field by looking at what's out there in terms of OERs. And I mean, if you don't like what's out there, you can write your own,
Well, I mean, it's fascinating because, I mean, to put it bluntly, this is more or less offering students, in many cases, textbooks that are available to them at no cost. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And over, if you're going on a 4-year college career, 2-year or 4-year college career, that's saving. I was amazed. Are you shocked each and every semester at the cost of textbooks, especially when you get to the university level? I mean, I've heard, my daughter's at U of H now, and I've heard the cost of some of these books, and it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, I find it to be a problem on many levels. I mean, I have a philosophical opposition to intellectual property as it is. And then, if we're going to say our mission is to, educate and improve people's lives, I think that if we can, we should try to keep the cost down, and OERs are a great way to do that.
Let's talk about your teaching process. How would you describe it, and how do we recommend we instruct our students? How do you recommend it?
Yeah, I'm not going to give recommendations for everybody. I regard my teaching method as organic. So I want to see what's going on in other classes and then fit my class in there. So I think that good philosophy is very slow. I try to tell my students that we shouldn't be leaping to conclusions. We shouldn't be, pursuing activism right away. We should just go slowly, figure out if we're right, figure out how we're right, think about what we want to do and all that. So my course is just plodding through article after article, but looking at sort of all of them in light of one another and trying to figure out what people are saying. And really, I want people to understand that thinking and good philosophy has to be painstaking in a way.
Is there a misconception that your students come into your classes with that's very common?
Well, there are many. I mean, I think in popular culture, philosophers are really weird. And maybe they are weird in real life, but just not in the same way. So I think they expect me to maybe meditate or something like that, or have lots of where we just share our feelings with one another. But that's not what we do at all. So I think they are sort of surprised on that level that I'm not very interesting, I guess, or at least I'm not quirky.
Well, we're all quirky in some ways. Maybe we just don't display it all the time. What would it take to be a student? What do you find as commonalities in students that want to study philosophy or maybe major in it?
Oh, yeah. So just a deep curiosity about ideas. They don't even have to be philosophical ideas, but just an interest in how concepts fit together. So the field of philosophy has really broadened over the last, say, 20 years. It was very broad, starting with Aristotle and the Greeks, where philosophers did everything. And then in the 20th century, philosophers did almost nothing that made sense to anybody. And now philosophy is very broad, where it encompasses or touches on political economy, economics, cognitive science, even therapy. So anyone who's interested in ideas, broadly speaking, could be drawn to philosophy. And if they're more interested in putting pieces of ideas together than just practice, those are the people who tend to major in philosophy.
How important is it to take, if somebody's saying, you know what, I want to be an engineer, or I want to go into the medical field, maybe I want to go into communications. I don't know if I need a philosophy course. How important, though, is it to take a philosophy course to become more well-rounded as a student and as you're going into the career world?
Right. So this is something where you might expect that I've always had the same answer, but I haven't. For a long time, I thought that some people can have wonderful lives without philosophy. And I still think they can. But if you're going to major in anything and you want to be able to convey ideas and think clearly, in the sciences, whatever, in communication, doesn't matter. I think there are some tools of reasoning that you need to be familiar with. I teach informal reasoning, like avoiding what's called base rate neglect and confirmation bias and all this stuff. And I think that if you want to be good at doing any kind of reasoning and get to the truth, you need a exposes you to these things, these ideas. And it seems like philosophy does it. Maybe it's the only place that does it. I'm not sure, but certainly we focused on those issues. Yeah.
And it certainly is meaningful to people. I remember when I was in high school and I was in 10th grade, and the teacher's name was Margaret Dooley, and I'm friends with her on Facebook, so maybe we should be watching this right now.
Oh, there you go.
But she was my history teacher, and she handed me a book one day, and I read it, got into it, wrote reports on it, and, kind of guided me along the years, but it was called The Stranger by Albert Camus. Mm-hmm. Do you find though, but I think about it now, and that was very meaningful, in guiding me when I was a young individual. How important is it to get philosophy into high schools and even earlier with kids, as opposed to first introducing them to that in college?
I think it's critical, so there are, how should I put this? A lot of times we market community colleges in particular as preparing kids for either careers or going on into academia, more broadly speaking. But it seems that a lot of employers are saying that students, no matter how well they do in college, lack some soft skills, like critical thinking. And I think, grappling through a text like The Stranger, which that's great that you had to read that, and figuring out what exactly is going on, because I remember reading the text and thinking the protagonist was a really weird guy.
Yeah.
But it's like, I guess he's weird, but what exactly is he fighting against here? And I think that getting, I'm saying kids here, I guess, because I'm old, but 16 and on, I think that getting them exposed to ideas will, have great implications down the road, just in terms of intellectual curiosity, but also being well-rounded. Imagine somebody who hasn't really read anything interesting, You want to be able to talk to your boss or clients or whatever. So.
Absolutely. We've been talking with Dr. Lamont Rogers, professor of philosophy at HCC Southwest College and a 2021 NISOD Award winner. Dr. Rogers, thanks for being here this morning.
Nope, thanks for having me.
All right, folks, if you want to learn more about our philosophy program, we'll put a link in the social media post for this show. All right, Frank Cooper, back in the saddle again today. Frank in the house. Frank, we got a number of things to discuss that are going on around HCC. First off, a Lunch and Learn Coaching for Leadership seminar is taking place.
Absolutely. So it's a quick view of the actions needed to carry on smoothly, including coaches cycle and the need for constructive and developmental feedback. That will be Wednesday at 11:30 with Dr. Antonia Rubino, partner of organizational development.
Okay, we're going to go through this again. Great American Songbook. Yesterday on the show, we had Dr. Lee from the music program. She played a piano piece. Well, the faculty recital, she's part of our faculty, and the faculty recital now is taking place online, and you can hear the Great American Songbook from Broadway to Hollywood. These are the jazz tunes that put American pop music on the map. These are things that Frank has on his workout playlist. We're talking Cole Porter, George Gershwin, Johnny Mercer, all presented by the HCC faculty, Francis Fenton and Jim Vukovich. That is happening 7:30 p.m. Friday, April 15th. Tune in. It's free. Registration's not required. We'll have the information in the post for this show. And there's an open mic night happening, Frank.
Yeah, so the HCC Music Entertainment Student Association, a platform for artists, musicians to stream on social media. That will happen Friday, April 16th. So for questions about that, email hcc.mesa.central@gmail.com.
Are you performing at that?
If I do, the fans will walk away. So I don't think I should perform there.
All right, we'll have to wait on that. Okay, Smoke-Free HCC Student Life invites students, faculty, and staff to participate in several events, contests, and giveaways. They're promoting a smoke-free environment here at HCC. We've got a number of things. There's a video contest, a song scholarship contest where you can win some money. Not you, Frank, but students. And then a smoke-free HCC poster contest that everyone is encouraged to participate in. For more information, email them or join them at the link we'll provide in the social media post for the show. Hey, free laptops and hotspots. What's that all about?
So first, I want thanks to the HCC Public Service Librarians and Rotary Club, HCC students may qualify for free laptops and hotspots. All you gotta do is go to library.hccs.edu/laptops, and for hotspots, you go to library.hccs.edu/hotspots.
Okay, as we've been talking about really for the last month, we've got registration underway. Registration for both the summer sessions and get this, fall 2021. The registration's underway. And the big kicker here is we're planning on bringing students back on our campuses for face-to-face classes. We've got several options that you can learn from. There are 5 altogether: online courses, hybrids, which is a mixture of online and in-person classes. Now, keep in mind, those in-person classes, folks, starting this summer, are going to be very small, following CDC guidelines, social distancing, some space, and to keep you safe. So make sure you sign up for the class you want, get the time you need, and you also have a longer time to pay for your courses because you're signing up early. Do that now. Sign up today. Go to hccs.edu/now to sign up for summer sessions or fall 2021. Okay, before we get to tomorrow's show, we got some things going on today because, Frank, it's been kind of slow in the sports world. Basketball, let's just say Houston basketball is over with for the season. Rockets are still playing, but we know where they're going. So that's happening. Boring, but the Astros, they're keeping things pretty interesting. And AJ Hinch returned to Minute Maid Park yesterday.
He did. It was for the other team, but
yeah.
He definitely did.
Tigers nowadays, and they gave him a standing ovation, which he of course deserved.
Absolutely. I think anytime you bring home a World Series back to Houston, you have to respect that. He was a manager during that time. He led the Astros, beating the Dodgers in a great series a few years ago. So you got to pay respect to the man who did that for you. As far as the Astros are going, they're playing great. I mean, they have a lot of talent. I know they lost a lot of guys in the offseason, but Michael Brantley is just raking as of late. The pitch has been great. I think I saw a graphic. Brantley's hitting like 340 in the month of April. Yeah. It's something crazy. He has a crazy OPS as well. They just find ways to win. It doesn't matter who's in or out of the lineup. They're finding ways to drive home runs. The pitching and bullpen has really been the hallmark so far in this season.
Yeah, and they've lost some people. They lost a lot of key players, but they keep plugging along and beating. Now, they lost yesterday. Of course, they played the Tigers, and they lost, I think it was 6-2. And Zach Greinke was on the mound. He had a really bad outing as a pitcher, incredible pitcher, but he just was having a bad day. But he threw this curveball. I don't know if you've seen the replay of it. It was a 51-mile-an-hour curveball. It just kind of floated into a strike. And the whole audience just, went crazy for it. They talked about it, made the highlights. And that's just one of his specialties, I guess, as the guy, the way he plays.
No, I missed that. But Zach Greinke's been pitching for so long. He's been pitching since I was in, my senior year of high school. So he's going on 18, 19 years in the majors. Like he's, from the Royals to the Diamondbacks to now Houston, he's a Hall of Famer. When it's all said and done, he'll be a Hall of Famer, for sure. But 51-mile-per-hour curveball, that's crazy. I've seen knuckleballs that slow, but I've never seen
look it up. It looks like a softball toss. It's crazy. It goes up and it's just a perfect strike. And he said, he was having a horrible day. He just did it. He says he throws balls like that when he just doesn't know what to do. And so there you go. There's his secret. So maybe he shouldn't know what to do most of the time, and we'll see if that wins games. But anyway, I think they've got a good record and a lot going on. And they're saying maybe Verlander may make it back by the end of the year, which is incredible. The guy's already trying to pitch in practice sessions.
Yeah, he'll be a needed arm back in that rotation. This is a Cy Young Award winner, a guy who is just absolutely just bananas in the postseason. He's one of the best postseason pitchers ever. So have the arm back in the rotation. That right arm would be much, much sorely needed.
Yeah, it would be good to see him back. All right. So speaking of back, you'll be back on Friday, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So you'll be back on Friday. Let's see. Tomorrow we've got a focus on digital gaming, our digital gaming program with local company 6 Foot, founded and headquartered in Houston by a small band of dreamers who shared a love of storytelling, art, design, and technology. They also have a staff of 150 people here in Houston. So our students will want to hear how they can get jobs making video games right here in Houston. That should be pretty cool, Frank.
Absolutely. And I'm a big gamer myself, so I'm definitely gonna tune in tomorrow and listen to him speak about digital gaming.
Yep, and we've got another student success story, Michael Phillips, who has journeyed through homelessness and hunger to become a faculty member here at HCC. That's an incredible story. So all that and more tomorrow on the show. Frank, we'll see you later in the week.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, and we'll see you tomorrow live right here, 10 a.m. up to the minute.